Beautiful faces in the room this morning. Gosh, we have such a beautiful community. Thank you all for being here. And for those of you that are joining us online, thank you for being with us as well. We see your beautiful face or your energy coming through the airwaves in a completely different way. How was your week? Good. The weather has made a little bit of a turn for the warmer temps. Some of us are really grateful about that. Others enjoy the cold. I see some thumbs down. Oh, well, I want to share some good news with you this morning. It is National Bubble Bath Day. Ooh. So I want to encourage everyone at some point today to go home and take a bubble bath, not because you need it, but because it's such a nice, wonderful, relaxing self-care thing to do. In addition to that, it is National Joy Germ Day. Now, what is a joy germ? How do we celebrate that? We celebrate that by spreading positive energy, positive ideas, and happiness. Hey, we ought to be experts at that, right? We ought to be able to do that with no problem. So, National Joy Germ Day and National Bubble Bath Day. That's great. That means it's going viral. Yes, let's make it go viral. How's that? How's that? Whew. How many of you have already had a busy morning? Well, we're going to take a moment to just let everything that has happened up to this point this morning go. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Just relax into your space. Get yourself comfortable. We're going to be moving into our discussion this morning about the background of unity and the 5 unity principles, which we'll be covering for the rest of the month. But before we do that, let's take a moment to reflect inwardly on the idea of freedom. There's a nice affirmation that goes with this word. The divine presence within guides me to freedom. If you'd like to say that with me, it's on the screen. Let's say it together. The divine presence within guides me to freedom. So just take these words in this morning. At times, I may feel hemmed in by circumstances, limited by lack of opportunity, or faced with an unwelcome situation and no good choice. When that happens, I may feel anything but free. Rather than despair, I find my freedom in God and the limitless expression of my divinity. Shifting my perspective from the limits of the world to the expanse and perfection of spirit, peace fills me. I relax and I remember that no earthly trouble is greater or more enduring than God. I claim the power of God and feel a strength beyond mere human strength as moment by moment I release limiting beliefs and reclaim the power I had given to my problems. Spirit lives in me and as me. This truth is my freedom. And 2 Corinthians 3:17 reminds us, now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. So take a nice big breath of that. Shifting our perspective from limiting beliefs. Oh gosh, have you done any of that lately?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single day. How about you? You feeling all right? I want to invite you to stand up for just a moment. Take a look around and maybe introduce yourself to 2 or 3 folks. Say hello. Welcome them. All right. right. That sounds good. Let's say together. I feel good. I feel good. Like I knew that I would. Give somebody a high five, then you may be seated. We're going to invite the children to come up at this time. Come on down, guys. Welcome. Hey. Hello, hello, hello. What you got there?
This is a panda.
A panda. Beautiful. All right.
And its name is Pinky.
Pinky. That makes sense. Oh, okay. Yeah. Were you guys ready to sing this morning? Are you guys ready to sing this morning? God is, and I am. I create, and I pray, and I act on the truth that I know. There is only one God. There is only one love.
Did we
All
miss
right.
part of that?
Oh,
That seemed very short. I think we missed part of it.
Skip part.
okay.
That's okay. It's all right.
I didn't miss a thing.
It must have just been in my
It was all in your mind. All right, we're going to ask the children to stand up, and we're going to send you off to your class. Gary is right back there with a blessing. We love you, we bless you, and we behold the Christ in you. We appreciate you, and we bless your teachers too, as
Thank you
well
so
as
much,
your parents.
Gary and Amanda, for being with our little ones this morning.
Absolutely.
How precious.
All right, do you know how to use your mind? Do you know what your mind is for? We're beginning a new class for 2 Wednesday nights, beginning this Wednesday night. If you want to be a part of it, you can join us in person or on Zoom, okay? And we're going to talk about how to use your mind to enhance your mental performance and your powers of concentration. Do you ever have difficulty focusing? Do you ever forget, like, lyrics of songs?
I didn't forget the lyrics. I think I just forgot that we sung them.
No, I might have. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, do you have little control over your thinking? Do you have blocks to your productivity? Are you easily distracted? Squirrel? Right? Well, this is a 2-part series that will teach you how to use your mind as it was designed. You will learn what the number one block is that keeps you stuck in repetitious patterns. Say with me, oh. And there will be 2 methods shared that anyone can do in order to become more productive. Anybody here like to be more productive? Okay. How to concentrate and how to remember better. Okay? Everybody's welcome. It's a love offering. And we'll be starting it this Wednesday night. So how can they sign up for this, Leah?
When I get home, I will put a sign-up form on the event, and tomorrow morning you can go on the website and sign up. Just go to the, at the top where it says events, go to the event calendar, and you'll go down on Wednesday and you'll see it there, and I'll be sure and put a sign-up link on there so that those that want to join us via Zoom can get a link for that.
Beautiful.
And then also on Monday the 23rd,
Yes.
we have a new member orientation. So if you have questions about Unity, if you'd like to learn more about Unity, if you would like to become a member, this is a required orientation class for that. We're going to do it Zoom. Make it easy for everybody. 6:30, Monday the 23rd. So be sure and put that on your calendar. And guess what? Tomorrow there will also be a sign-up sheet for that on the website.
Fantastic.
If there isn't already.
Yes.
We have lots of good things coming up.
So today we're going to start talking about unity foundations, foundational principles of unity. And we call it OOMPA, not Oompa Loompa, but OOMPA. And we're going to talk about what those letters mean. When we first moved into the Carolinas, we'd be in the grocery store. People would walk up to us. Well, you know, they didn't know us from anybody, and they would ask us, "What church are you a member of?"
Or have you found a church
Or
yet?
have you found a church yet?
Are you going to church somewhere?
Because, you know, we looked like we were from somewhere else, evidently. And so we said, well, we attend Unity. And they said, oh, is that like Unitarian? You know. And so it was interesting. And a lot of times, with all of us, we don't know exactly how to explain who we are, and what we believe. And so today we wanted to kind of go through some of the foundations of unity so that we can learn how to share what it is that we believe. Sound good?
So unity is a positive path for spiritual living. It's a way of being in the world that is happy, healthy, and enjoyable. We're a spiritual community that is a haven of peace. That's our mission statement, a haven of peace, part of it, for all people. Unity is foremost a practical approach to spiritual enrichment and life-affirming principles. But the bottom line is that we are a positive path for spiritual living.
Now, our local community is part of Unity Worldwide Ministries, which is a movement that is headquartered in Lee Summit, Missouri. There's 1,400 acres that we call Unity Village.
How many people here have been to Unity Village? Oh, look.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
We actually did a trip to Unity Village in 2011. I think we had 8 or 10 of us that went to the annual convention. It was fantastic. But there's beautiful rose gardens on the property, fountains, chapels, a golf course, swimming pool, lodging, offices, and more. It's just 15 miles from downtown Kansas City. And Unity Village features concerts, classes, retreats, and the annual convention. And there is 24-hour prayer available to anyone who calls. It's absolutely free.
Did you mention that they have a gym?
Yes.
Yeah, they have done a lot.
They have a Jim King.
They have done a lot of work on the facilities there, a lot of updating. Some of their buildings they've turned into and are working on continuing to turn into B&Bs. It's just a really beautiful property. So, you know, Unity is also part of the larger New Thought community. We call it New Thought, but really it's anything but New Thought. It's been around for a long time. But the New Thought ideology movement includes science of mind, it includes spiritual living centers, and there's others. So New Thought's been called the wisdom teachings of universal truth, and it was greatly influenced by the transcendentalist movement of Emerson and Thoreau. How many of you have heard of them? Walden's Pond, right? So an interesting note about Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau, was they would get together at Emerson's house or Emily Dickinson's house, and they would have these conversations, and Thoreau was just a handyman. And he didn't have the status and the standing to actually be in the conversations with them. So he would sit out in the hallway and they would have their conversations and he would interject little ideas. And after a while they'd go, you know, this guy has got something, he knows something. And so they wound up bringing him in to their group, and he wound up being one of that group as well, and went on to do his great experiment of moving to Walden Pond and then writing about that. But on one occasion, Emerson spoke at Harvard asking, Why are we so obsessed with Jesus, the man, and neglect the teachings of Christ that teach about the God within?
Good question.
It is a good question.
Thank you, Emerson.
Yeah, it's a very good question.
Now, New Thought is a blend of Christian mysticism and Eastern thought, Eastern teachings. In every religion, you will find a fundamentalism. How many have heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what a fundamentalist is? It's one who forgets to put the fun before the mental, right? But fundamentalism is found in every religion. There's fundamentalism, and there's also typically in most other religions, there's also the mystical, experiential, going within, finding the God within. In just about every religion that you can name. Mm-hmm. And so the fundamentalism is more about the black and white views of the world and the black and white views of divinity in absolute and sometimes authoritarian terms. Our way is the only way. But the mystical perspective goes beyond the outer superficial level and sees God in all. Take a breath of that. Doesn't that feel good? It's beautiful. So unity has its roots in Christian mysticism with influences from Eastern religions and the transcendental movement.
That's right. So unity pioneers Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were living in Kansas in the late 1800s, and one day there was a speaker that came through holding a revival, Dr. E.B. Weeks. And he came in town to speak, and Myrtle went to his meeting, and she heard him say one thing that struck her, and that was, "I am a child of God, and therefore do not inherit sickness." And that really sparked something in her. She carried that idea and that burning in her with that home and worked with that thought. Every day in a practice, she began speaking these life-affirming words, and she wound up healing herself of tuberculosis, which back then was a death sentence. Back then there was, many in her family had it and had passed and died from it. And so it was a very serious condition. But over time, taking that affirmation in and working with that, she actually wound up seeing herself healed of that over about a 2-year period of time.
Yeah. You know, Myrtle created a prayer circle that regularly began to meet, and this little prayer circle is what ultimately became Silent Unity, right? That we have today.
Yeah, and if you don't know, Silent Unity is a 24-hour prayer line, 365 days a year. Anytime, if you wake up in the middle of the night with something bothering you, you can pick up the phone and you can call Silent Unity, and there's someone on the other end of the line to offer you affirmative prayer. And they've been doing that now for...
Right, it's an unbroken thread of prayer for over 100 years.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Okay?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Unbroken thread of prayer. In other words, it's continuous.
Yeah. So Myrtle experienced this healing from tuberculosis, and her husband Charles was amazed at what had happened. But Charles was also a very healthy skeptic. As you often say, he was from Missouri, and the show me state. So he had this healthy skepticism, and how many know that healthy skepticism is a very good thing to have, right? And so he said to himself, I'm going to go to what he called headquarters myself. And if this is true, and if this stuff is really real, then I too can communicate with spirit. And if not, then this whole thing is just a fraud.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. So over time, his spiritual intuition grew, and he began to receive guidance as he sat in the silence. And he was a realtor, and he would have dreams about property with a sold sign in front of it, and the next day he would be out driving around And there it would be. He would find it without a sign, but then he would proceed to get the sale. So he was getting these intuitive hunches. And like Myrtle, he was also healed himself of a physical ailment. And they both went on to study many of the different religions to try to understand this one power and one presence.
So in time, they began to produce the Modern Thought magazine that later became Unity magazine.
How many of you get that magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo, that's a good one to subscribe to.
And this is also about the same time that the Daily Word was introduced. And so today there are millions of subscribers to the Daily Word, both online and through print. So Unity was founded in prayer, spiritual connection, and education.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So what about the Bible?
What about it?
What about the Bible? In Unity, we view the Bible as a metaphysical, which means meta means beyond the physical, metaphorical, and even poetic book of sayings and truths. We take it seriously, but we don't take it literally. Very good. So we're always asking ourselves, what is the deeper meaning, and how does this apply to me today? What is the spiritual connection point? And sometimes it takes a little digging to get to the truth. And Charles Fillmore said, let us remain open at the top for further revelation and understanding. They didn't believe even the Fillmores did not believe they were the final word on spirituality, but they were part of a continuous stream of knowledge and information to come. They even wanted to be buried in secret so that no one would know where their graves were and turn them into some kind of an idol.
Yeah.
They were first and foremost concerned about not being held up as some kind of, I guess the modern day word would be guru, right?
So in Unity, we teach the idea that science and spirituality go hand in hand. In the beginning, Fillmore wanted to call, before he came up with Unity, the word Unity, he was thinking about calling it, Science, Christian Science. But that name was already taken. So one day he was in prayer, and this thought just came into his consciousness, unity. And he jumps out of his chair and he says, this is the banner under which our movement will soar. And became Unity.
Yeah.
So I love that. Yeah. But today, science is even confirming many of these ancient truths and principles, these new thought ideas that have been around for thousands of years. But it's good to keep in mind that unity is open-ended. Open-ended. Right? If you ever find somebody who says they've got all the truth, they know the whole truth, and that's it.
Run.
Right? Because the divine unfolds a little bit at a time as we are able to realize it, as we are able to grasp it, as we are able to understand it, as we are able to evolve and to grow. Tell the person next to you, say, I'm growing, and I know you are too. Unity is practical spirituality, practical Christianity, practical. It's got to be practical. If it doesn't work for you, it's just an intellectual concept, right? And you can have that if that's what you want, but I think it's better to have a principle, a concept that helps you to live your life in the here and now. And by the way, let it be based in love and kindness. Love and kindness.
And those really are the two guiding questions that you can ask yourself whenever you're being given a new ideology or belief to consider. Is it based in love? Will it move me to love? Is it based in kindness? Will it move me to kindness? Speaking about Charles Fillmore, he was very much a man of science. If he was alive today, Unity had a radio station, one of the first. He was very much interested. He would be on top, I think, on top of whatever is technologically advancing, on all the new science discoveries, because that's just who he was. He was a man of science. So I think it's interesting about him. So we offer teachings based on universal principles that can empower an individual to make changes in your life, to make the changes that we want, right? We suggest and recommend things. We will never tell you do this. It's always a recommendation. Well, have you thought about trying, without being dogmatic? So Unity is not a religion in the traditional sense, but it's a way of life that's ever evolving, ever growing, and changing for the better.
And we have people from all walks of life and differing backgrounds who come together. As students of truth, we're all students, right? And I think that's the key. You know, in Zen Buddhism, they talk about the beginner's mind, always having the beginner's mind whenever you approach something. Always be fresh. Always allow yourself to be open to a new way to see something, right? A new way to hear it. And because that's evolution, that's growth, and that's what we're here to do. But we all come from different backgrounds, and so what we do is we come together and we share with each other what we have learned and also what we have in common. See, in Unity, we like to focus on what we have in common, right? What we can share together, because we believe in that oneness that we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes. So there is no absolutism. Absolutely not. Right? Believe like us, or you better get your fire insurance so that you don't end up in a torture chamber being fearful of a God with an anger management problem. Right? We don't want to be authoritarian. Well, in Unity, I believe that you must believe it's our way or you're out of here. We don't want to do that, do we? Right? No. We suggest, we recommend, we share. We allow people to make their what? Yeah.
I heard a lot of things there in that. Their own decisions, their own choices, their own
beliefs. Their own journey.
Yeah, I heard several things in there. That's good. Yeah, it is. So what's the job of a Unity minister? Because, I don't want anybody to think that because we sit up here and disseminate spiritual food every Sunday morning that we have it all together.
Speak for yourself. Oh.
We change, we grow, evolve in our thinking. If you asked us today about a topic that you asked us about 2 years ago, you will probably get a different response to it, because we are endeavoring to remain open and continually having that knowledge expand. And we are, somebody said yesterday, used the phrase, and I loved it, silly humans. We're silly humans endeavoring to do the best that we can all the time, as well as you are. We're all going through this together. So the job of the Unity minister really is to keep order and balance and guide our community towards peace, and to empower our members and our attendees to make your own choices, to be self-responsible. We ask each individual to take that responsibility for themselves. We do not engage in a philosophy of the devil made me do it, I had no choice, yada, 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 right? It's not that. It's I take personal ownership of my life, and that means that I'm responsible for those choices and I'm responsible for the outcomes of those choices. So as a Unity member, you're not required to believe a set of doctrines. but you are asked to prove to yourself through continued practice and find what is true for you. It doesn't do any good if you come in and you just listen, and you never try to walk it out in shoe leather and you never try to practice it. That's why we call it a practice. Everything that we do, we refer to as a practice. You know, I'm in the practice of meditation. I'm in the practice of this, because we're walking it out in shoe leather every day. So finally, Eric Butterworth, well-known Unity teacher who we love around here, says, we are dealing with a technique for the application of fundamental spiritual laws discovered and demonstrated by Jesus and many other great mystics.
That's beautiful.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. And there's a long line of teachers. You know, there are Unity teachers and ministers that you will never know their name who have had great impact, who have, you know, members of Unity communities who've had great impact over the years. And so it is a continuous thread. And you and I get to be part of it here in 2023. Yeah. Right? Isn't that amazing?
And there's so much of the history that we don't get to cover, that we don't have time, that is so interesting. It's so fascinating. So we encourage you to dig a little further into the Unity background. And when I post the talk tomorrow, on the lessons page, I'll try to put some resources on there for you to do that with.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about principle number 1, numero uno, right? And this is where OOMPA comes in. The first O represents the oneness, the one power, the one presence, the one God. But don't let the word God become a stumbling block. A lot of people are upset about God, you know. How many understand that spiritually, if you want to evolve and you want to grow, you have to learn how to redefine your spirituality as you go along. And adapt new ways to think about words that have been used in the past. Because many of those words, people understood them at the level that they were at the time that they lived, right? And that's neither good or bad. That's what? It's just the isness, right? It's just the isness of life. So don't let the word God be a stumbling block. What does it mean to you? And what does it mean to you now? How would you define it now? Can you redefine it to reflect, you know, where you are in your spiritual growth at this time? You know, actually it takes many words and names to describe this awesome power. Some of the names we use around here is Mother, Father, God, Universe, Christ, Spirit, Divine Mind, Creator, Creation, all that is, and more. In the Bible, there are over 1,000 names for God. Isn't that amazing? And there are thousands more in other traditions.
So this idea of one power is not unique to Unity. The idea is found through many ancient pre-Christian belief systems. And this sacred thread of truth was taught down through all of the ages. So let's look at some of those.
Yeah. Zoroastrians.
Ooh.
Do we have any Zoroastrians here? They're not extraterrestrial. It is a belief system that believed that there was one universal, transcendent, all good, and uncreated supreme creator deity. That's been thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago.
The Upanishad says all that manifests is of God, and from God all things flow.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, I am the soul that exists in everything. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of life. I am indwelling all living creatures. I am the light of the eternal world. I am the one that never changes.
Egyptian writings, all is within yourself, so know your most inner self.
Wow. How many have said these things before? In the Emerald Tablet, have you heard of that? Know that all space is ordered. By order, are you one with all?
Buddha, universal mind is like a vast and boundless ocean.
The Sikh. As the scent dwells in the flower, so God dwells in the heart.
The Tao, the great Tao, pervades all things and causes all things to come into existence.
Judaism. I am the first and the last, and beside me there is no other.
And in the Christian writings, in Ephesians, it says there is one body, one spirit, called to one hope, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father source of us all, who is over all and through all and in all.
I think the Apostle Paul must have been from South Tarsus.
South.
Y'all.
Y'all.
Isn't it beautiful? So these threads of truth have existed for thousands, millions of years, right? Who knows how long this thing has been going. The truth is always the truth. It's eternal. The truth never changes. What has to change? The way we learn and hear and think about the truth. Make sense? And that's why it's always good to be open-ended and open-minded and be willing to look at things from a different perspective.
Yeah. So in unity, we endeavor to unify and integrate rather than to separate. If there's only one God, then there's not really anything to argue about.
Yeah, but what about, right? Have you heard that?
Part of what is, part of our mission statement, what we feel that Unity of Greenville is here to do is to help heal the belief in separation.
That's right. It's not a separation. It's a belief,
It's a belief in
separation. It's because you believe that we're not one. That's the challenge. See, that's the concept that needs to change. We are all one. We are all connected.
And that's because we get so hung up on the vehicle.
Yeah.
We get so hung up on the vehicle that we're in and that everyone else is in. Mm-hmm. And that becomes our separating device because we don't look like someone else or we don't speak like someone else. We focus so much on the exterior.
Right.
On this human form. So.
And that's what we're going to get into next week. How to heal that and awaken to your true identity, which is principle number 2. Principle number 2, right? So there's only one planet, Earth, that we live upon. One human race. Just one. One creation. There's one love, one life, one universe that we live in. There's only one moment at a time that you get to live in and experience. And there is one body of God. And that's what humanity is. We're all part of that same body.
And there's one spiritual energy that we all come from. One creator, one creation. One source, one journey from, through, and back home.
Yeah. This is just a temporary space. Earth is like a motel or hotel. It's pretty deluxe, wouldn't you say? It's wonderful because everything we need is here. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. That's what Romans 11:26 says. And, I point this out sometimes gently to fundamentalists, that I'm talking to, ministers at times in my life. And I say, have you read that scripture? And we talk about it. It says, for from him and through him and to him are all things or all beings. We all come from God, and I like to say God is divine love. God is unconditional love. We all come from love. That's my home, right? That's my home. That's who I am. And we're on this journey together to rediscover and to uncover and to remember who we are. And then at some point, we'll all go back to that unconditional love, that fullness, that wonder, that awesome power. Somebody in Unity said, there is no spot where God is not. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So that's the basic idea of the first principle. And it's something that it's good to know about it, to understand it, but it's even better to experience it, to experience that oneness, to know it for who? For yourself. Because God has no grandchildren, right? We're all children of divinity. We're all part of the same family, the same body of God. Let's take a breath together. I just invite you to relax for just a moment. There was a lot in that today. Something for you to contemplate, consider. I promise it won't hurt, right? We are opening up, sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. Sing it, Leah.
We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I invite you now to take in a clean breath. There's something that happens when you're in the midst of a community of people and you let your heart open up.
And instead of just trying to think your way through something, you realize you just need to feel your way into and join with that loving spirit, that higher power, that divinity within, that Christ. So many names, so many different ways to access and to know, but yet so personal that every individual has their own experience that is unique to you, unique to you. How does it feel for you? We are opening up as we surrender to that illuminating, loving light of the oneness, one power, one presence. So breathing gently and easily, allow yourself to receive whatever you need this morning. If you have a question, put it out there. If you have a gratitude, think on it for a moment. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. Affirming that God is the source, that love is the way, and that wisdom comes to me now to direct my path, to guide me where I need to be in any given moment. And I'm trusting. I live in a trusting state that I'm always at the right place at the right time. Living in union and communion with that inner spirit. If there's someone in your life that you'd like to hold in this space for a moment, I invite you to bring their awareness, maybe even whisper their name aloud. Get a picture of them in your mind, surrounding them with love, light, and care and comfort. And in this moment, we envision you, dear one, living a higher, fuller, greater quality of life, awakening to your spirit, finding resolution to your challenges, gaining insight and understanding. You are loved. We love you. Love is there. Love is with you now. we see you in the hands of the divine. We're grateful for this community, for each person. We respect each person, and we accept you as you are. We acknowledge the good that is within you. We know that you will change and you will grow. It's organic. It is the way of the spiritual life to grow and to change. And we allow you the space to do that. We release you from false judgments. And we see you free. We see you fulfilling your purpose. You are here on divine assignment. And you have divine authority to speak those words of spirit and life, to affirm your good. Yes, you will have challenges. They will arise. And I know some of you right now are having challenges in your life, and you wonder, how in the world am I going to get through this? Well, we're here to encourage you and say you're not alone. You are loved. We will pray with you. We will affirm with you. We will see you in your wholeness and your wellness. We know who you are. You're a child of God, of the universe. We respect you. We're not here to judge you. We're just here to support you. And so for a moment, I want to leave you in this healing field that we've created together. In this moment, as we reflect with a quiet mind. So we hold in consciousness all people everywhere, all children, all men, all women, to the highest good, and peace, and healing, and comfort. In the name of the Christ, the sacred, the holy, and the God, we say, Amen. So it is. I invite you to reach and stretch for just a moment. How are you feeling now?
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jack. It was beautiful. Those healing sounds and frequencies. Ooh. Yeah. We're going to ask our platform assistant to come at this time and to share with us.
Coming after me. Good morning, Unity Community. My name's Lisa Munoz. It's my joy to be your platform assistant today. And the first thing I'd like to ask is that all of us create a warm welcome for anyone who's here for the first time today. Do we have anyone visiting us for the first time? Welcome. Oh, we have several today. Wonderful. We're so glad that you're here. We are really appreciative. And if you didn't get a connection card yet, we'd love to share one with you. We have them at the back of the church. And we look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. If we have anyone online new for the first time as well, you can send us your email. We'd love to stay connected with you. And we welcome you today also. And we have two prayer chaplains today. I see Jean right here. And do we have another prayer chaplain serving with her? Is she on solo duty today? Well, Jean will love to honor you with prayer today if you're in need of prayer. And she'll be meeting you right in our beautiful chaplain sanctuary room right in this hallway back here. We don't want anyone to leave with a heavy heart today. So if you're in need of prayer, Jean would love to meet with you, or if you have gratitude or joy you'd like to share in prayer as well. Our chaplains are there for you. And lastly, I'd like to thank all the volunteers, acknowledge everyone who makes this service happen. It takes a lot of hearts and hands each Sunday and during the week. So can we please thank all the volunteers? Thank you so much. I think that's it.
Thank you so much. All right. Appreciate our Sparkle team that came by yesterday and cleaned up. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you. We used to have to pay somebody to come and do that, and they have volunteered to do it, and they love it. They enjoy it. So we appreciate all the Sparkle team. Keep things sparkling. Speaking of sparkling, have you noticed we still have the Christmas trees? So we're in need of some volunteers to come by the church one day this week and to take the decorations down, put them in a nice box, and we'll put them away, and then we'll take the Christmas trees out. I hate to see them leave, honestly. You know, I'd like to be like, have you ever seen the houses where they keep the lights up all year round? I'd like to be one of those, you know. Anyway. But Leah won't let me, so. So if you can help us with that, we really appreciate it. So we're going to take a moment to receive our offering today. I'm going to ask the ushers to get ready and to come, and we appreciate it so much. Your giving means everything. You know, it is why we are here. And I want to say thank you to all those who gave this past month. In December. It really helped us so much. It made a difference. And so thank you to everyone who gave. God bless you from my heart. I just really appreciate it. If you're not a consistent giver and you'd like to be, you can sign up and do that, and it can just come out of your account and you don't even have to think about it. You know, you just say, all right, just take $1,000 a month and let it just go to the church. That sounds good to me. Or whatever number you want to come up with is fine. So we really appreciate it. Let's say together our statement. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all I receive, and all that I am. There you go. One power, one power, one presence. There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or Heaven's Door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power,
One power, one power.
We speak so many languages, have different clothing, different colors, and different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or Heaven's Door. Well, it's Allah, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe, and it's the power of the love in you and me.
One power, one power, one power,
One power, one power, one power.
It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release.
Joy of inspiration and the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations and the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power, one power,
one power,
one power,
one power, one power.
for what we
It's
are.
what we are is one. It's the power of the love
that is forever in you and me. It's the power of the love
in you and me.
one power, one presence. spirit, one love. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Leah. Thank you to our media team. I want to thank all the folks that watched us today online and joined in with us, and hope that you can feel that energy, that spirit. I'm going to invite someone up to provide one more experience for you. Anybody here ready for some prosperity? Terry, come on down. She's going to tell us about an opportunity that you have for the next 40 days.
Yeah. Good morning.
Will you use the microphone, please?
I can, but I can't do all that light. Thank you. So we're doing a course called 40 Days of Abundance. It is every day, yes, weekends and holidays. 40 days starts next Saturday. It's 8 o'clock at night. So you have resources all around you. You have resources within you. There are gifts ready for you. Are you ready to receive them? So this program is designed to transform your mindset. So you can go, if there's something you want or desire, it helps you tap into it so you can manifest your desires. It could be health related, relationships, wealth, spiritual growth, joy, whatever. It's based on this book, The Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. And that's it. 40 nights starts next week. You can sign up online. Thank you.
And you're meeting via Zoom.
Via Zoom every night. Thank you. And there'll be activities, affirmations, and other activities we'll have for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Terry. We really appreciate it. Absolutely. So please take part in that. If you know, here's the thing. It takes 40 days to change your mind and develop a new habit. So this might be what you need to do. So ask your heart, your spirit, ask your heart, say, is this for me? And do that with everything, right? Because it makes a difference. Are y'all ready to stand up? Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. For wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you all for being here today. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.